the woman. What do some men do that creeps you out? When I was a young woman, crossing by groups of men of any age was so terribly humiliating because of the things they would say, mostly to impress their friends with their bravado. I have two extreme 1970s incidents. Keep in mind that I was not looking for masculine attention. I covered up wear, long skirts and big sweaters. And this is in Canada. Coats and scarves, but almost no makeup. I had already had a couple of lower-key incidents that day, when I walked past a coffee shop where a few old men were gathered outside smoking, drinking coffee and ogling women and girls of all ages who walked by. Like all women, just walking down the street when groups of men are present is a dreary experience. But I was in a really bad mood, and I heard one of them say how nice it would be to shove it up my butt. I turned and slapped him so hard that his head hit the corner of the window hard. I called him a pencil dick and said he was a cowardly little man. Then I turned to the rest and asked if any of them had anything to say. Miraculously, they were unable to do so. The man I slapped had moved now, and there was blood on the corner of the window frame. This was satisfying. My hand hurt for a long time. Still satisfying. The second incident happened while crossing a construction site when it was impossible to cross the street to avoid them. They said things like, "Hey baby, want to suck my pee-pee? Hey, baby, got time for a F? I got something you want right here in my pants. How far up your butt is your G-spot? I'll bet I could find it if you bent over. I ain't got no time to F. So can you just shut me off? Gear." I stood there and wrote down the name of the construction site from the sign and other bits of information. Intersection time. Number of men working near the sidewalk. I knew this company was anchored in the city. Then I took a cab. Whose driver? Luckily I knew where the office was. I was so humiliated and angry that I was shaking. I asked to speak to the owner for 5 minutes. The office staff didn't really know what to do while I waited. I asked the typist if the owner had any family members working there. Yes, his wife in accounts receivable and his teenage daughter was filing. I asked for them to join me when I spoke to the owner. They were notified and joined us out of curiosity. I explained the problem and I quoted those men word for word, in front of the owner's wife and teenage daughter. I waited for a response and then, to my dismay and disgrace, I started to cry. Damn it, I am not a weenie given to crying over anything. I broke my foot and didn't cry. I solved problems and at that time had gone years without crying. And here I was, an adult woman crying because those men had humiliated me for the amusement value. Crying was so unexpected and so sudden. And as much as I wanted to present myself as a reasonable, responsible adult with a legitimate complaint, the tears just flowed. They stared at me, horrified, and I just sat there. The owner called the site manager of the site and told him to shut down the site for the rest of the day, and to report to him immediately. He said this would not happen to me again at any of his sites. And then I just fled. I got home and stayed there and that was that. Since then, when men are this inappropriate, I say something. Although I haven't called anybody a pencil dick for a long time.